If your pension impacted your ability to collect Social Security benefits, 2025 is a very good year for you and your spouse. The Windfall Elimination Provision and the government pension offset are no more, and you're now eligible for your full Social Security benefits and your pension. I'm executive producer Andy Last. Today on a quick Your Money, Your Wealth podcast number 536, while Joe hangs out in the North Star State, Big Al Clopine explains what the Social Security Fairness Act means for Cherilyn and her husband, and Nuke La Loosh and his wife, with the help of our special guest co-host, Susan Brandeis, CFP. Got a money question or need a retirement spitball analysis? Click or tap Ask Joe and Big Al in the episode description and send it in as an email or a voice message like this one.
Hello, Joe, Big Al, and Andy. My wife and I live in Northern California. I love the show and I've learned a lot. I usually listen while I'm exercising before work or driving on the weekends to our cabin. You've taught me a lot and I'm better off for having found your podcast first. The important stuff, I drive an F-150 and my wife drives a Jeep Wrangler hybrid. I enjoy a hazy IPA or maybe a rum or tequila-based cocktail or even a Moscow Mule, just depends on the mood. My wife enjoys a nice Chardonnay. I'm a teacher age 53 and wife age 57 is an accountant. I've spent most of my career coaching middle school sports, and my dear wife enjoys volunteering with local charitable organizations. I have 2 kids. One is launched and one almost out of college. We have 2 yellow labs that love a nice visit to the lake or just a simple ride in the back of the truck. When I retire, probably in 7 more years, I will have a CalSTRS pension that alone will cover right around 100% of our monthly expenses. The pension will be about $7,800 per month, and that's right about what our monthly expenses are. And this doesn't include my wife's Social Security, which we plan on delaying until age 70. My question is about the newly passed Social Security Fairness Act. I have put in enough quarters to qualify for Social Security benefits, but it was at a low income rate when I was younger. And my projected benefit at full retirement age is around $440 per month, according to the Social Security website, and $230 if I take it when I am 62. Here's my question. Do I qualify for taking the spousal benefit when my wife decides to turn on her Social Security benefit? Would that be the larger of my tiny amount or half of her benefit? Before the law was passed, me getting a benefit for my years put into the system was just a pipe dream, but now I'm wondering if I would really be able to qualify for the spousal benefit, which could be half of her benefit of $3,570 per month if we wait till age 70. I think our retirement plan works without this, but with it, it obviously factors into our future planning. Our portfolio consists of a little over $1 million in tax deferred, $400,000 in our Roths, $38,000 in an HSA, and $90,000 in our brokerage. We're good savers, and I will max out the 403B this year, and we will continue to max out our personal Roths as we are able because we're right up against that income limit. I think we're on track for a successful retirement. But if you could give me some insight about the spousal benefit of Social Security as it applies to me, I would appreciate the spitball. Thanks so much.
And that is from Nuke La Loosh, which I believe is a reference to the movie Bull Durham, played by Tim Robbins.
I think you're right. I think it was Tim Robbins. I think he was maybe a pitcher or something, if I remember. I used to love that movie. Being a baseball guy myself, but yeah, love the name, Nuke La Loosh.
And now apparently he's trying to figure out his Social Security strategy.
Yeah. Well, you know what? When I saw the movie, I was young, and now I'm not as young. So
there you go.
So I guess it's appropriate. Yeah. So anyway, okay. So he's talking about So there's a new Social Security Fairness Act that was signed in January of this year, 2025. That really kind of changed a couple things about Social Security and claiming strategies for government employees or for spouses of government employees. And Susan, maybe you can sort of go over what happened, what the change was.
Yeah, so the change is that both the Windfall Elimination Provision and the government pension offset has been eliminated. So therefore, if you have a pension from a non-covered pension, your benefits will no longer be reduced, and your spousal benefits will no longer be reduced based on that pension. So basically, you're going to be able to get the amount that you've earned, that you work towards, or half of your spouse's benefit.
Yeah, so for years and years, you could be a government employee, right? But you worked for another company before or after working as a government employee, but you didn't get your full Social Security because the government felt like you were double dipping, right?
Yep.
Or if your spouse was a government employee, you didn't necessarily get your full Social Security because of that. So that changed, right? And so now that's gone.
That's gone. Yeah.
Right. What's interesting is so it's retroactive. So it went all the way back to 2024, and people are getting checks right now for monies that they would have gotten, but see that with this new rule. So it's pretty cool. And this is true going on a go forward basis. So Nuke La Loosh, the benefit of your spouse 3570. So that's probably that's the benefit that she'll get at 70. That's not quite what you get, right? You get the benefit at what her full retirement age, which depending upon her date of birth is anywhere between 66 and 67. You will get half of that benefit, which is probably what, Sue, 25-30% lower, something
Yeah.
like that.
Yeah. So it's probably about 2,800 around there. Yeah.
2,800-ish. But
So you'll get half of that
yeah,
amount.
and it's a little bit better than that because it's not only the benefit that they would have got, but it's also indexed for inflation.
Yeah. Yeah.
Right.
So does this change people's
that-
strategy? Should they consider potentially taking Social Security when they had changed their strategy because they were subject to the weapon GPO?
Very possibly, Andy, because particularly when you have a spouse involved, because with the spouse, you can't claim a benefit until your other spouse starts claiming, right? So your spouse has to claim a benefit for you to get the spousal benefit. So in some cases, it may make sense for your spouse to take the benefit earlier so that you can claim potentially a higher benefit. So that is absolutely true. Yeah, so it's a pretty good law. This was actually signed by the Biden administration before he left his office, and it is affecting a lot of people. I think I saw like 3 million people or something like that this affects.
Yeah,
wow.
because it not only affects, it's both your spousal benefits and your benefits. So it's the people that are in the public sector.
Yeah, so does this affect survivor benefits too?
It does, yeah. You'll also be able to get the full survivor benefits because before with the government offset provision, based on the calculation, a lot of people it was eliminated because of that. But now they're going to be able to get the full spousal benefit, survivor benefit, and half the spousal benefit.
Yeah, and you can imagine it's confusing. It's confusing for us. I mean, this is complicated stuff. But the point is the two provisions that limited the amount that you got as a government employee or your spouse as a government employee have been eliminated. So now you get the same benefits that anyone else did, which is going to make a pretty big difference, I think, for a lot of people.
Yeah, because in this case, probably he'll get $1,500 more a month with the spousal benefit than when it was wept out. So that's a significant amount.
It's a big deal.
Yeah.
All right, Andy, what else do we have?
Yeah, okay. The next one is from Cherilyn in El Cajon here in San Diego in California. She says, "Hi, Joe and Big Al." We're going to change that. It says, "Hi, Susan and Big Al. My husband retired about 20 years ago from the city of El Cajon after 31 years of work. The city is not in the Social Security system, so he was under WEP. He only got around $150 per month in Social Security because of WEP, even though he had many quarters of work elsewhere. I am retired but still working at the Diocese of San Diego. When I applied for Social Security at age 70, I asked the Social Security lady if my husband could get spousal benefits since I get around $2,000 per month. I figured he could get $1,000 or so off of my benefit, 50%. That's much better than the $100 he gets now. They said no. The WEP law changed recently and he got a retroactive check for $4,700, but that only goes back a couple of years. Supposedly, he will start receiving more on his benefit check starting in April. This email is obviously a little bit old. But I still have this spousal benefit question regarding him. We've been married almost 50 years. Wow, Cherilyn, 50 years. I hope you can at least answer yes or no without us having to make an appointment to go into the Social Security office. I figure the answer is still no, but I still don't understand the reason."
Well, first of all, Cherilyn, I think, you don't want to go to the Social Security office at all costs. So we're going to try to answer it for you. So, Susan, what do you think? Does this new law, does this affect Cherilyn as well?
Yes, I mean, if she's taking your Social Security benefits, that she applied at 70, then her husband would be able to get spousal benefits based on the amount that she would have gotten at full retirement age.
Yeah. So what's interesting here is so she's getting a couple $1,000s, and so she applied at age 70. Okay. So think back to our last caller. So the spousal benefit is 50% of the benefit at full retirement age, which for Cherilyn was somewhere between 66 and 67. I don't know exactly what, but whatever the benefit was at that point, that's what her spouse gets half of, plus indexed for inflation. So let's just, for simplicity, let's just say that was age 66. Okay. So at age 66, whatever her benefit was then, half of that benefit he would get, indexed for the cost of living, which Social Security announces each and every year. It was actually pretty high, Susan, a couple of years ago.
Yeah, a couple of years
Like
ago, it was
9% or something, I think.
it was close to that.
Because-
It's gone down since then, but it was close to that.
It has. So I kind of tend to figure maybe 2% ish, maybe a year as the extra benefit. So if you're getting a couple thousand, I bet your husband ends up getting 700, 750, something like that. So yeah, it's so the answer is yes. You don't have to go to a Social Security office. The answer is yes. That's why he got that check, because it was retroactive to 2024, right? So it's an extra amount he should have got for all those months that he didn't get it. So now that we're recording this a little bit later than your question, you probably already have noticed that he's getting a higher benefit, but the answer is yes.
So the way that worked was basically they got a lump sum retroactive payment, and then it caught up to present day. And so then his payments going forward would be increased based on whatever that calculation is from that point forward after he received the retroactive benefits.
That's exactly right. So if you were fortunate enough to get a check, then the Social Security Administration is saying that they believe that you qualify for this higher benefit. If you didn't get a benefit or a check and you think you should have, well, that's when you got to call Social Security. Maybe you got to go to the office and, just grin and bear it. You just have to do it, right, to get your higher benefit. But I think the Social Security Administration has been pretty good at figuring this stuff out.
Yeah, because they've got a lot of requests for it.
Probably
by now they've had a lot of practice.
Yeah. So at any rate, yeah, good news, Andy, for people that are receiving Social Security, that either husband or wife or both work for the government.
And so basically, if you haven't heard about this, if you weren't aware of the fact that this weapon GPO law has changed, it's definitely worth looking into whether or not that changes your Social Security situation.
Yeah, without a doubt.
Without a doubt.
I think this will change. This will be important for a lot of people.
Yep.
Okay.
So the next one is actually a comment from our TV show, because we have been airing some of our previous episodes of the TV show. And so the one that this person saw was actually the old episode before the weapon GPO law changed. Helen in San Diego said, this morning's TV show on Social Security gave incorrect information on WEP. That was eliminated in January 2025 with one of the last orders signed by Biden. We are all now getting retro lump sum paybacks from January of 2024, 14 months, and the WEP amount is being restored in our March benefit paid in April. You should correct that on the show and in the book you are dispersing. Helen, thank you very much for the comment. We will work on that. Now we can do a new episode that has the new information in it.
Well, Helen, you're absolutely right.
Yep.
And thanks for bringing this to our attention. So we will fix that. We have, I don't know how many TV shows, Andy. We probably have a couple hundred. And
Yeah.
We do refunds.
Refunds.
We do reruns. We do refunds. We do reruns.
We will refund you on the price of watching that television show. We'll give you 28 minutes back.
Full refund of zero. We will do that. But yeah, we don't record every week, probably like any other TV show. So anyway, sorry about that. We'll try to get that all fixed up.
And to actually, on the other side of that, Catherine wrote in and said, hi, I value the TV show and have learned a lot. Thanks. What's missing is the message that even if the information presented doesn't pertain to you directly, it's important to be informed because you may be able to inform someone else. We're all in this together. I thought that was a really cool message from Catherine.
Wow, Catherine, well said. I agree.
Yeah.
So we will continue. We'll forge ahead.
Very cool. Since we recorded this podcast episode, we have indeed updated our free Social Security Handbook to include a section on the Social Security Fairness Act updates for 2025. Click or tap the link in the episode description to go get your copy now. Did we mention it's free? Courtesy of Your Money, Your Wealth, and Pure Financial Advisors. Oh, and cool news, YMYW was recently named among the 14 best retirement podcasts and blogs to follow by Do.com and featured on NASDAQ.com. They ranked us as number 9 overall and the number 2 podcast on their list. Click or tap the link in the episode description to see the other podcasts and blogs that ranked, and tell a friend. Next week on YMYW, Susan Brandeis returns to spitball with Big Al on asset location in different accounts, the combat zone tax exclusion, and other ways to maximize tax-free retirement income, whether to invest the proceeds from the sale of a rental property, and prioritizing Roth, brokerage, or 401k savings if you're a late starter. Look for the YMYW gang of Joe, Big Al, and me to be back together on July 15th. Your Money, Your Wealth is presented by Pure Financial Advisors. Time flies when you're planning for your entire financial future. Don't put it on hold. Schedule a free financial assessment today and see if you're on track. Our team of experienced professionals will analyze your situation, identify potential roadblocks, and create a personalized plan to get you where you want to be, including taking into account the latest changes to Social Security, your tolerance for risk, ways to reduce your taxes in retirement, and your unique needs and goals. Click or tap the free financial assessment link in the episode description or call 888-994-6257 to book your assessment, either online or in person at one of our 12 nationwide locations. Pure Financial Advisors is a registered investment advisor. Pure Financial are not affiliated with or endorsed by the Social Security Administration or any other government agency. Content is intended for educational purposes only. This show does not intend to provide personalized investment advice through this podcast and does not represent that the securities or services discussed are suitable for any investor. As rules and regulations change, podcast content may become outdated. Investors are advised not to rely on any information contained in the podcast in the process of making a full and informed investment decision.